The Hyundai Elantra N just barely entered a 7th generation a couple of years ago, and now it's already received an update. The biggest change is the exterior design, but there are a few tweaks underneath it as well. Like previous years, the 2024 Elantra N is still powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It produces 276 horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque. Sadly, because the demo car that I test drove had the manual transmission, it did not have an NGS mode or N grid shift. This feature provides an additional 10 horsepower for 20 seconds, but it's only available on Elantra Ns with the dual clutch automatic transmission. But getting back to the engine, it produces the peak torque at low RPMs that is then sustained throughout the mid-rev range. Hyundai calls this a flat power engine because of the flat torque curve and the peak horsepower, which is sustained from 5,500 RPMs to 6,000 RPMs. The throttle response can be changed through the different drive modes: Eco, Comfort, Sport, and N, or it can be customized using the Custom 1 and Custom 2 drive modes. This is also a pretty good sounding engine. The valved exhaust can make the Elantra N sound almost as silent as a standard Elantra, or it can make the car the loudest thing on a Monday morning in your neighborhood. The 6-speed manual is an easy transmission to use, whether it be in everyday traffic or more spirited drives. The shifter is smooth, but it doesn't quite have the same hefty weight as the one in the Civic Type R, nor does it have the same satisfying click as it goes into the next gear. The clutch pedal is light and is smooth to engage the clutch. This transmission also has a rev match function, which will blip the engine's RPMs with every downshift to make them smoother. With this 6-speed, the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N is rated for 11 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. I managed to average just 11 liters per 100 kilometers during my time with the car. In fairness though, I did put my foot down just a little bit more than usual because I just liked how it sounded. For this 2024 model year, the Elantra N receives stiffer engine mounts, stiffer suspension bushings, retuned steering rack, and updated adaptive dampers. I'll admit though, it's been a few years since I last drove an Elantra N, so it's hard for me to notice these updates to the handling dynamics of the car. But what I can say is that this is still a fun front-wheel drive compact car. It feels planted through corners, and the limited slip differential does wonders to pull it out of turns with minimal wheel spin. There is a little hint of torque steer under full throttle applications, but it is far more controlled than the hot hatches of a decade ago. The adaptive dampers have 3 different stiffness settings, and the steering itself can also be adjusted to provide a heftier feel through corners. In all, this is an excellent driving car for the amount of money that Hyundai wants for it. The ride of the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N is overall stiffer than a standard Elantra, even with the adaptive suspension in the comfort mode. Having said that, it's not unbearable on city streets. It doesn't feel too punishing. In the stiffest setting, however, the ride is much more jiggly, but strangely, it doesn't feel quite as jiggly as I remember it in the Veloster N. Additionally, Hyundai provides some of the best sports seats in this segment. They may look almost like race bucket seats, but they have just the right amount of padding to support most body types. The interior is also very spacious. The front seats provide about as much space as the Honda Civic. For my above average height of 6'4", I had absolutely no complaints with space in the front. Additionally, the rear seats offer half an inch more legroom than the Civic. That means tall individuals can comfortably sit back there for long periods without feeling too squished. There are a couple of USB-C ports in the middle and a decently sized hump in the center, but there are no air vents for rear occupants. In the trunk, the Elantra N has 402 liters of cargo space. The car does away with a spare wheel under the floor, and instead you get a tire repair kit. The backrest can be folded down, but it's not split 60-40 like in some other vehicles. And of course, you will not be able to put very large items through that pass-through because of that red strut brace. Sadly, the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N has increased in pricing. The last time I reviewed the Elantra N in 2022, it had a starting price of $37,199 Canadian. Now, it'll cost you just under $39,400 Canadian with the 6-speed manual transmission. The 8-speed DCT is an additional $1,600 Canadian. Worse yet, for 2025, the car is an additional $500 more expensive than this 2024 model. On the plus side, the Elantra N is a fully loaded car. It comes equipped with heated front seats, heated steering wheel, backup camera, wireless phone charging pad, dual zone automatic climate control, Bose audio system, power sunroof, keyless entry, and push button start. The infotainment system is displayed on a 10.25-inch touchscreen and is the same one that is found in some other Hyundai vehicles. The only difference is the addition of the N performance pages. These display various performance parameters such as throttle and brake applications, G-force, and lap times to name a few. Speaking of which, there are a few pre-programmed tracks in the system, and you can set one of the two N steering wheel buttons to start or stop the lap timer. These performance pages also allow you to customize the N1 and N2 buttons, customize launch control, and shift light RPMs. The biggest change to the car is the exterior styling. However, it wasn't done for the sake of being different than the previous year. The redesigned front fascia improves cooling for the engine without sacrificing aerodynamic efficiency. There's also better cooling for the brakes with this new front bumper design. The 19-inch forged wheels are new as well, with Hyundai saying that they save 33 pounds in unsprung weight over the previous design. Around the back, there's a small trunk spoiler, a faux diffuser, and some pretty sizable exhaust tips. Overall, the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N not only remains as a less expensive alternative to something like the Honda Civic Type R or Toyota GR Corolla, but it's a car that can stand on its own merits. It's a lot of fun to drive, and it's easy to live with on a day-to-day basis without breaking the bank. If you'd like to know more about this 2024 Hyundai Elantra N, I have a more detailed written review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner in the top right corner. In the meantime, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.